It's the big weekend for the high school football season. 715 different teams getting ready to start their years, and one of them is the Wellston Rockets, who will be hosting the Jackson Ironmen, a series that's gone on for more than 100 years. Let's hear from both the coaches, Andy Hall from Jackson and Wellston's Jay Lucas.
This game in itself, most of them, their parents played in the game or were a part of it, their grandparents, and played Jackson ever since they were in Little League. So they're familiar with them, and honestly, I mean, a lot of them probably wouldn't admit it, but they've got a lot of friends down there and that kind of thing, and that kind of, just kind of stokes the rivalry even a little bit more. You want to have bragging rights going in, and as the series comes to a close, obviously these last few games are important to both teams.
Not being from here, I learned very quickly that this rivalry, regardless of the wins and losses, means a lot to this whole county. In 2010, we got beat up at Wellston, and on Sunday morning I had a for sale sign in my front yard, and I realized very quickly that this is a personal, a family rivalry, shall we say. And it's sorry to see it end. This is the last year we'll play at Wellston, and then in 19 they play here for the finale.
Our team goal to start the season was not to focus on one game. We wanted to go out and we want to play well. We'd love to beat Jackson, obviously, but each game we just want to get better. If we get better each game, each week, we feel like by the end of the season we're going to have a really, really good football team, and that kind of goes back to your point before. If we only worry about one game, then the rest of the games are probably not going to go right our way. We got a lot of good teams on our schedule, and so our focus has to be on just getting better each day, getting better each week, each game, and the outcomes be what they are. Hopefully we win them all. We'd love to, but we've got to just keep getting better.
In this game, it's all about turnovers and taking care of the ups and downs, the momentum of this game, because both teams are very excited. We're both 0-0. It's even going in, and I think when you go up there, of course, it's a unique stadium because the fans are literally right on top of you. The excitement of the game starting off. So I think you got to handle the momentum shifts early and then turn the ball over. We know that Wellston's a power run football team. They'll take foot-to-foot splits. They're going to try to control the clock, ball control us. We feel like that we have more speed on offense, so I think it'd be smart for them to try to hold the football, and they've done that in the past. So I think defensively being able to withstand their size up front with our speed, and then when we go on offense, we got to move the football. Big plays I think are on our side. We feel like that we have an advantage there, whether it's throwing or running, but because again our speed I think will be an advantage for us. And if we can get those guys out in space, I think that will be a good situation for us.
I was here in 2000 and then through 2002, and we had some great games. Coach Layton at that time was Randy Layton was the head coach up at Jackson. He had some great players. Had T.J. Mustard, David Swisher, and those guys, and Jamie Callahan, and some just tremendous players. And likewise, we did here as well at that time. We had Lance Phillips and Thomas Mays, Brad Young, and those were battles. Those were four-quarter wars. And like I said, these kids understand that rivalry. And whenever I first came, I didn't really understand it until it was that first week of going through practice. That was all everybody talked about.
It's fun to talk to people outside that will tell you 20, 30 years ago they remember playing in this game, or they remember cheering in this game, or playing in the band in this game, where they sat when they watched a certain game in particular. It's something that is embedded in this community, and it always will be.
Coach Hall was at the time when my dad was at Cold Grove and just getting started. Coach Ed Miller was at Wheelersburg, and Coach Hall was there with him, and great battles. Just tremendous football games.
My dad, who was the head coach at Wheelersburg for years, coached against Dave Lucas, who had been, of course, head coach at Cold Grove for 30-plus years. That rivalry goes back into the 80s, and so those two have had kind of a coaching rivalry themselves. And now that Jay and I, who both of us coach for our dads at those prospective schools, now the roles have reversed.
You hear it at Wellston and the respect that I have for Jackson and their program, and I know Andy well enough to know he respects us as well. And it's again, it's a game. It's a game that both of us want to win, and after the game's over, we'll shake hands and we'll be friends after the game's over. Absolutely.
Jay and I have known each other for years, and it's nice and it's neat to see how our dads have been able to support us in our coaching careers and everything. And it kind of comes full circle, I guess you could say. It's not a Wiersburg Cold Grove situation, but it's Jackson Wellston, and it does mean a lot to both communities.
And we feel like as a program we've grown considerably in the past year. We're not where we want to be yet, but we're on our way there. The kids have really worked hard. I'm very, very proud of them, and I think that hopefully throughout the season it's going to show the hard work that they've put in throughout the off season.
Early on, this game is always been very close, very physical game. It'll be very physical for 4 quarters, and again, we're excited about playing in this thing because again, it's a county rivalry, it's a family tradition, and it's something that we look forward to 364 days a year.
It's the Litter Media Game of the Week #1, Jackson at Wellston. We'll see you Saturday and watch for highlights next week.